Hello, and today we will be talking about NLP, right? So, basically, what is NLP? As all of you are aware about it, it is natural language processing, right? This is the full form of it. Now, what is NLP? Is basically it is the process of manipulation of natural language for English, Hindi, French, and this is using some software. So this is what we define and this is how we work on it. So what actually happens is we have the raw data, right? And this raw data, what we do is we try to process it, correct? And once you process the data, then what is the next step? That is called as clean the data, right? And after cleaning the data, what we do, we apply machine learning or deep learning into it. And obviously, then we extract the info, right? Whatever information we need. So, what we are going to learn today is this process, the process wherein we are making the raw data to a cleaned data. And that process is known as pre-processing in NLP, right? So, I will take you to all of these steps. So, first, let me give you some examples of it, right? Like, if I talk about what are the examples of NLP, correct? So what are those examples? First is POS tagging. Now what do you mean by POS? POS is parts of speech. Then we have, which we are talking about is NER. What do you mean by NER? It is basically name, entity, recognition. Correct? Then obviously it is speech recognition, which we talk about. We have obviously a sentiment analysis, and obviously the last one when we talk about is language translation. Correct? These are the few examples. So we will not go into the details of it. We will do it later on. Currently, today's project is to work on the data pre-processing in NLP. So that's what we will focus on. Data pre-processing in NLP. This is the topic of discussion today. Now, when I talk about data, how is the data? Basically, the data is into two forms. First is the structured form, and definitely the other one is the unstructured form, right? So definitely we will talk about the structured data, because unstructured data, what happens? It makes NLP as a difficult task, right? So that is why. Now let me talk about the data pre-processing NLP. What are the basic steps in NLP, right? So what are those? First is the text normalization, right? This is the first one. So let me take it over here. The first one when we talk about is text normalization. Now, what do you mean by text normalization? As you know, like how can we make the text normal? Like for example, if I write here, okay, hey Ramesh, correct? And again, I'm going to write it over here, which says, hey Ramesh. Now, as humans, what is this? For us, it is same. Basically, For human being, it is same. Hey Ramesh and Hey Ramesh. But what will machine consider this? How is machine going to learn about it? So machine will say कि okay, it has three words. Hey Ramesh, and this is also Ramesh. So basically, for the machine, how many words are there? For the machine, there are three words, right? But actually, this is not true. Why? Because as humans, we know about it, right? So, what we do is we do the uppercase and lowercase in this case, and we can achieve text normalization, right? So, for example, what are we going to do? We will change this either into a lowercase, and we can make this as Hey Ramesh, this one. Here we can do it by using the lowercase, correct? Lowercase. And in this, what we can do here, we can make it like, okay, hey Ramesh, and this can be applied using the uppercase. And this is how your text is normalized. This is actually called text normalization. Correct? The first one is clear. Okay, so I will, after this video, I'm going to upload a demo also for you. I mean, the hands-on, how do we do all these things. So once I finish this, then I'll upload the video of the Jupyter lab as well. So you can practice all these things. Okay, chal. Now, the next step, first was text normalization, which is, I think, quite clear to all of you. The next thing which we talk about is stop words, right? So basically, what are these stop words? Like helping verbs or not relevant verbs. So helping verbs are what? Which help to complete the sentence, right? Those are called helping verbs. Or what you can say, or which are not relevant words. So what it will be, suppose I am going to write here, he is a good boy, right? So what is happening here? What are the irrelevant word? Is and a, these two. Why? Why do we say this? We will say, okay, is, am, not, the, okay, right, I, all these things, they are not useful for extracting the information, right? And hence we can lower the vocabulary size. So what you can do, stop word removal is one of the way we will be doing it in the demo. You are going to see it in the next video. So in that you will see you can remove these words, because in natural language or in the language, these words are just helping. They do not make any sense. They are just like this. So that's what is called stop words or stop word removal when you will do it. Okay. Now let's come to the third one, which is actually called punctuation removal. Now what are punctuation removal? You can say, okay, minus sign. Okay, then you have slash or you have exclamation mark, right? So basically these are also kind of noise and these can be removed, right? So from any sentence or anything, you can always remove. So these are self-explanatory. I'm not going into details. Once we do the demo, you'll get the clarity on this. Okay, same way, since these are irrelevant, can we say ki, okay, if there are any URLs or if there are any email IDs, these are also not useful, right? And how do we remove them? We can remove them using regex. What is regex? It is regular expressions, right? So using this we can remove all the URLs or email IDs. So what are URL and email IDs? Which are like www and so on. Or if you have any particular ID which is like @gmail.com, correct? So all these things. So basically when building a model, URLs are typically not relevant and they can be removed from the text data, correct? So that is the purpose of your what do you say, this number removal, right? Okay, now we come on to the fifth one. The fifth one, correct? What is the fifth one? That is number removal, correct? So what do you mean by number removal? As you know, it is self-explanatory. It is important to remove all the numerical digits from the text data, right? So if I say, okay, the coffee was number 1, or she ranked number 2 in class, correct? So these are the things which you can remove. This is like not relevant. This is like not relevant, right? This is why do we do all this? This is because in most cases, numerical values do not provide any significant meaning to the text analysis process. There is no meaning of it, right? It is just a number, correct? And this also you can replace and all, correct? Okay, now the next one, the sixth one, correct? So when I talk about the sixth one, it is white space removal. It is called what? It is called white space removal. So it is also exactly the same, like in punctuation and all, na? So white space is like, suppose I'm writing it like this. Here there is no word, okay? And he is a good boy, correct? So this space will be removed. This space will be removed. Okay, same way, if I write it like this, she likes to eat ice cream. So what happened? Here there is a space. This will be removed, right? So you will see all of it. Don't worry. And once I tell you, all these things will be quite clear. So clear? White space, punctuation, URL, number removal. These are all self-explanatory. Okay. Then we go to the seventh one. So which is the seventh one? The seventh one is like this. Okay. Which is normalizing text to ASCII. So what does that mean? What do you mean by text to ASCII? Basically the UTF-8 version which we see, this you can convert it to this form, to ASCII character, right? So this is also quite self-explanatory, and this is done in very rare cases and all. But yeah, like if you want, you have the option in NLP to reduce this kind of a thing, right? Like normalizing text to ASCII characters, correct? Okay. Now the next thing, which is quite important, and this is like the core of it also, and many people get confused, so that's why I'm making it little easier for you, which is called stemming. Now, as the word says, I mean, as you can see from the word itself, you can see stem. Stem means what? It means roots. Correct? So basically, what it does is it removes suffix. What do you mean by suffix? Which is put at the end. Prefix is before, suffix is last. So basically what it does, it converts to its root form. Like in this case, if you see running. So what happened? This is basically the suffix. And what do? We remove this. So what will be left with us? It will be left with us as run. Okay. Now, same thing I will tell you about another thing, which is basically called after the eighth one. I'm going to talk about lemmatization. Now, this is also kind of, it is like similar to stemming, but now I'll tell you the difference. Lemmatization is the process of converting a word to its root form using lexion. So this is also converting to its root form. How? How is it converting? It is converting using lexion. It is converting using lexion. Lexion is means it is like a word which says the root. Correct? For example, if I write here, it is eaten, so it will give me eat. So what is the difference between the two? I mean, you will say, okay, ma'am, this is also doing the same, and stemming and this is also doing the same. It is opposite to stemming. Lemmatization uses lexial rules. Okay. It uses what? It uses lexial rules. Sorry, lexical rules. Which is basically to transform a word to its normal form. So if I talk about like say, okay, this is, just give me a minute. Okay, so if I talk about stemming, and if I talk about lemmatization, correct? These are the two things. So what I will say, okay, this is slow, but it is accurate. And what? It is fast, but less accurate. Why? Because this lemmatization thing, this gives you a dictionary meaning. Like whatever you are cutting, whatever you are making it to its root form, it should be in the dictionary. Dictionary means the words, like which the word should exist. But here when you cut short the suffix, it doesn't mean it makes any sense. It can be anything. Okay, so you will say, okay, ma'am, can you explain this? So I'll give you a very nice example, okay, with stemming and lemmatization. So let me write it once again for you. This is basically stemming, and this is basically your lemmatization. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll write the word here. Say the word is interchange. Okay, then I'm going to write here interchanger. Okay. Then let me put another word. I will put interchangeable. And then I'm going to say, okay, interchanging. Right? So what I'll do, I will apply here stemming to it. And here I'm going to apply lemmatization. Okay. Now what will happen once you apply stemming? The word we will get over here is, see, which word we got? We got this word, interchange. Interchange, interchange, interchange. Right? But do you think it has a meaning? It has no meaning. But when you apply this to lemmatization, what it will give? It will give me a word which means interchange. E. This word has a meaning in dictionary. If you will search, it will have a valid meaning in dictionary. Right? So basically, what are we trying to tell you over here? I am trying to tell you over here the difference between stemming and lemmatization is both cut them to a root, but here we are just cutting the suffix part. What is the suffix part over here? This is the suffix here. This is the suffix over here. Right? This is the suffix. This is basically a suffix. We are removing the last part. We are cutting that. Correct? But here, in this case, if you talk about this one, right? It is giving me a word which is called interchange. What is that word? This word is this, right? This interchange. What is this word? This word is this. This complete. This word is this. Which has, this is also we are doing it to a root, but we are now this time giving it a meaning which actually is there in dictionary, which has some meaning in dictionary. It exists. It's a meaningful word. Clear? Now the difference between the two, stemming and lemmatization. Okay. So we did how many? We did 9, right? Now we'll do the last one. Okay. So the last one, the 10th one, when we will talk about is basically text vectorization. So what it means? It means that in ML and DL, which is like machine language and deep learning, we need to convert them into the vector form. Why vector form? Because we need to convert it into a machine readable language, right? So what happens? There are so many things, like we have bag of words, then we have TF IDF, then we have word embedding, and we have one hot encoding. So what is this TF IDF? Let me write it for you. This is term frequency. I'm just giving the full form, right? Inverse document frequency, right? So basically, I'm going to explain all of these details once we come to the 10th part, that is the text vectorization. So basically, bag means, bag of word means there are words, so many words, and we put it in a bag, right? How do we put the books in a bag, right? Same way. So bag and all the words are converted into its different form, and then they get the numbers, and once we get the numbers, it can be done. Okay, so we'll go a little later on. This is something which is the later part of the subject, but I hope you have enjoyed the data pre-processing in NLP, and soon we'll be uploading the demo of it. So thank